Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Welcome back to the podcast. Arun has been reading an article and he had many questions about that article. So, as always, I thought we'll discuss it in front of the camera. So, those of you who have similar questions in mind can get some clarity in it. So, what is the article you read?
This article is from the Mint newspaper. So, it says, Taxman to defer to banks in IBC rescue.
Headlines is very nice. Very confusing.
Yeah.
And that's why I can understand why you got confused. IBC stands for Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. It is when a business goes bankrupt, meaning whatever they owe, their debt, they're not able to pay it. Then they go into insolvency. Insolvency means it's like someone has died and then splitting up the assets. What happens in the family? Old man dies. He's left a lot of goodies for you guys. Then after the funeral is over and you finish crying and weeping, you reach home. Then the fun starts. Suddenly all the uncles are like, yes, all families immediately.
I want this, I want that.
No, they'll immediately, one elder will be like, okay, I'm the eldest.
I'll decide what.
Yes, then the younger will say, that is olden times. New days, we don't do this. Everybody talks. We're all equal.
Okay.
Then the daughters will come and say, we also are equal. And that kind of mess will start. All this funeral sadness will suddenly turn into anger and hatred towards each other. So that similarly happens when a company goes bust. When a company goes bust, the company owes money to a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
The first person they owe money to is who?
Banks.
Yes, who they borrowed from. Second is so-called secured creditors, or the bondholders. Third is, of course, the investors who bought the shares. Then, of course, there's another person who we all tend to forget, who's also a big person in this whole equation, is your tax authorities. Government. Government is one of the four people who are. So there you have banks, who the company owes money to, then it owes money to bonds, then the government, then comes the investors. So when a company goes bust, there's always a hierarchy. Who gets first? The eldest. No, the family. When family is divided, the eldest gets first. Now we're in modern times, you can say it's not like that. But this is not true in the case of insolvency and bankruptcy code. There's supposed to be a hierarchy. And for a long time, there's not clarity in this. There was no real clarity in the rule. Saying the rule said everyone...
So who does all this?
The company, once it goes bankrupt, there's a committee formed. So the committee will decide who gets what.
That is formed by the government.
Yes, there's an authority to form that.
Okay.
But that before you get into that, there is no clarity on who gets what, who gets first. Because the reason why the company has gone bust is it doesn't have money. So only little money is left over. So it could be that they sell the factories, they sell the assets and they collect all the money. Right? Then who gets the money? Like everyone thinks when Kingfisher went bust, no problem. Each airline is worth so many $1 million. He has 10 airplanes. That means no. Then only people realized none of these airline companies own the airlines. They're renting it. Even when Tata say they're buying airlines, they placed an order, they're not buying the airlines. There's actually an intermediary who's paying for the aircraft and buys the aircraft and gives it to Tatas for using, and they're leasing it from them. So it's one complicated thing. So, but as reading the news and watching these things, you think if the guy's driving that car, he must be owning that car.
So we tend to think like that.
Correct. Right. Then only when the accident happens, we realize the guy doesn't own the car. He's borrowed it from his friend. So similar things is true in companies too. So that is the way when the bankruptcy is filed, that all assets are taken account of, then so much money is there. In the past, before this ruling happened, there was no clarity on who gets first. So one guy went to Supreme Court, Gujarat State Officer versus Rainbow Papers, which happened 2 years back. In that, Supreme Court gave a twist. What Supreme Court said was, government dues should take priorities. That means the taxman, Gujarat State tax, should get first dibs. Not the creditors, not the banks. You must first, whatever money it is we paid, first pay Gujarat State government. Which set whole tailspin. Because then there's no clarity. In all other insolvency cases, the bankruptcy which is going on, it upended everything. Because something known as a secured bond is what? No matter what happens, I get my money back. It's secured. That Supreme Court threw out the window. So all people are holding bonds got nervous. Then if that Supreme Court is saying that means, this guy is saying my bond is secured, then there's a lot of confusion. No one will want to hold the bonds. Everybody will want to get rid of it because anything can happen. Because it becomes a circus. So to clarify all this, the government stepped in. Going forward, Ministry of Corporate Affairs has issued an IBBI, Insolvency Bankruptcy Board of India. Okay, with consultation with them, they have clarified this now. What is in this clarification? First clarification is when insolvency happens, first priority is to banks. Okay. Second is to creditors. Then comes tax authorities. Okay. And if anything is left after all that, shareholders can get something. 99.99%, almost 100% shareholders will never get anything. So that is the nature of shareholders.
Will be left for the investors.
Nothing, you will not get anything. Because that is the nature of shareholders. Because shareholding, you're getting capital. Meaning you put 10 rupees and buy a share of the company and this company goes to 1,000 rupees. You have gained all that. So you can't have it both ways. Correct?
So if the company bears the loss, I should also take the
Correct.
loss.
You also have to take the loss. That means you're the owner of the company. As an investor, if you think logically, you're the owner. That people forget when the company goes for a loss. All people who invest immediately think, hello, what is this? I'm a shareholder. I should also get something. It is not right. How did I know Anand Ambani was going to do that? But the mistake you're making is, when you buy Anil Ambani's share, you're agreeing with whatever Ambani is doing. If you don't agree, then you should sell your share. You should sell your share before. You cannot keep on waiting, hoping things will get better. That something he'll do, and
It's
something
like
happens.
Titanic ship sinking.
Correct. You're waiting.
Titanic ship.
The captain is also sinking with the ship playing violin. That means you should jump off the ship. You sit on the ship, you will also go with the captain. So that's why what government now clarified. So now what government is saying is, first, banks and bondholders get first dips. Then if there's any money left, tax authorities can take it. And after that, is anything left, whoever has to be paid can be paid. By the time the bank and the bondholders are paid back, tax authorities won't get anything. And if in case tax authorities, then there's nothing that will be left for you as an investor. So this is the clarification they've given. This happened because of the Supreme Court ruling on the Gujarat State Tax Officer versus Rainbow Papers, which happened a couple of years ago. So now it has given clarity. So this is what that article is about. When they said, what was the title of the article? Taxman to step aside for banks in bankruptcy waterfall. That is another title. Yours, the title was different because you picked it up a little earlier. These things keep changing title. So basically, government has told taxman, you stand aside. You wait for your turn. So now the Insolvency Bankruptcy Board of India, they are the ones who, when a company goes bankrupt, they are the ones who decide who gets what. We're asking, which committee? So this is the committee, IBBI, the Insolvency Bankruptcy Board of India. They decide who gets what. And now it's clarity. It's been written as a law itself now. So there's Ministry of Corporate Affairs is written in as a law. So there's no more confusion. So no tax officer can go to the bank and say, I also deserve. I have priority. I also deserve. Then Supreme Court will say, boss, the law states is very clear. There's no confusion anymore. Like this, there are many laws in Indian corporate affairs, Indian other legal laws. There are a lot of confusion like this. Whenever they come up, the government tries to take it up and tries to clarify and rewrite the law to give more clarity. So these are very famous ways auditors use, lawyers use these kind of loopholes, which are there in law, which is all completely legal, and you can go stand in front of a judge and the judge can rule in any way. Once the judge has freedom, there's no clarity in the law, it becomes a judge's call. And the judge can say whatever they feel is the right thing to do. That's what happened with the Supreme Court. Right? Anyway, I hope it clarified. Thanks for watching the videos, guys. And we'll see you in the next one soon. Bye.
Thank you.